And welcome back. I'm your host, Ella Dralos, and we are at the Dorian game. Today we're going to be investigating the picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. We have a few contestants here. Let's get to know them. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Macy. I'm in the 12th grade, and I love Dorian Gray. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to win.
Good to meet you. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Audrey. I go to Vanderbilt High School. I'm in the 12th grade, and I love my dog.
All right, let's get started. All right, ladies, a few rules before we start. The first person to slap the table gets to answer the question. You get 2 points if you get the correct answer. If you do not get the correct answer, the question will be passed to the next player, and if they get the correct answer, it will be 1 point. You get no point deductions for answering incorrectly. And if neither of y'all get it correct, then we're going to have a little expert, Jen Moore, come in and tell us the correct answer. Let's get started. Question number 1. Who wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray, and what time period did the book take place in? Audrey Ryder.
Okay, the author was Oscar Wilde,
Wild.
and this book was written in the late 19th century.
Okay.
This was the Victorian era.
Yes.
And there's like a lot of social norms being challenged, as well as the social class.
2 points for Audrey Ryder. Let's go. Question number 2. How does the time period of the book influence Dorian Gray's attitudes towards the value of beauty?
Okay, so this book was written in the Victorian era, so they valued youth and beauty a lot, kind of like you said. Queen Victoria was in the throne at the time, and she was 18, so she was really young and beautiful, and a lot of people looked up to that. So Oscar Wilde incorporated that into his book by making Dorian prize beauty so much and have that be his top goal in life, and it's just very consistent throughout the book.
Correct.
Yay!
2 points for Macy. Question number 3. How did Dorian react to his killing of Sybil Vane?
Dorian didn't really take responsibility for the death, and instead he saw it as an artistic statement, and so he didn't really feel the guilt.
All right, bonus question for double the number of points. How was this influenced by the time period?
The rise of individualism and hedonism promoted his self-centered attitude.
Correct, you get 4 points.
Yay.
All right, question number 4. By the way, the score is 5 Audrey and 2 Macy. So Macy,
Gotta make a comeback.
you gotta get this one right here. All right, question number 4. Did Lord Henry change throughout the book? Why or why not?
He definitely changed. He's like character goals. He developed so much and totally just completely changed his attitude. He went from a jerk to the best friend ever.
Okay,
so.
wrong. That's
What?
very
What do you
incorrect.
mean?
Let's pause and let's go over to our expert, Jen Moore.
Actually, Lord Henry did not change throughout the book. Since the beginning, he prized youth and beauty over anything else, and in fact influenced Dorian Gray so much so that Dorian ended up dying in the end because of his initial influences in the first couple pages of the book.
All right, well, neither one of you got that correct, so no points awarded. Sorry. Question number 5, Macy, I've got to come back here.
I can do it.
All right, number 5. What are one of the themes of the book?
Well, the main theme of the book, I think, is art. Art is plays a big part, especially with the picture of Dorian Gray. Art is seen as something that wants to be like life, but life also wants to be like art and beautiful and picturesque. So yeah.
Very good. Okay, we're gonna do a little bonus question for double the points. Can you name 2 other themes?
Okay, one other theme is youth and beauty, and how idolization of beauty is really important throughout the book, and Dorian idolized his own beauty and the beauty of others. And another theme is the superficial nature of society, where they really just focus on beauty.
Correct. 4 points.
Yay!
All right, tie game. Let's go. Question number 6. What are some negative consequences of the time period on the theme? Audrey? Looks like you jumped the trigger there a little bit. So since it's tied, you're not gonna answer?
No.
Oh, okay. We're gonna do a little extra, you can steal the point, Macy, because it's a tie.
Okay.
That's not fair.
Shut up. Alright, I'm going to repeat the question.
Okay.
What are some negative consequences of the time period on the theme?
Well, since everyone's so focused on youth and beauty, idolatry becomes a big focus, and it's seen in pretty much every relationship that there is. Like with Basil, he idolized Dorian, so that kind of led to his deception when Dorian deceived him and ended up killing him. And Sybil idolized Dorian, and she ended up killing herself when he didn't live up to her expectations. And lastly, Dorian idolized his beauty, which led to his death. So it just shows idolatry just like ruins relationships and ruins oneself.
That was amazing. You get 1 point.
Yay.
All right, let's get moving on. Question number 7. What did Dorian Gray strive to be? Why is this hypocritical?
I think he just strived to be really successful and rich, and it's hypocritical because, like, you know, success isn't everything.
That wasn't quite what we're looking for, so I think we're gonna have to go back over to our expert, Jen Moore.
Well, actually, Dorian Gray strove to be beautiful and very youthful by pouring himself into art and other material things, like especially tapestries. Also, he got very attached to Sybil Vane because of her beauty in the arts, because she was an artist. However, as soon as she lost that, he decided that he did not like her anymore and he did not love her, and in fact was repulsed by her. So that just shows that he really only cared about the art. And also, it's hypocritical because he cared about the art and the youth and the beauty of everything, but really in the inside he was immoral and frankly the opposite of something that you would call beautiful, because he is unwilling to accept any guilt or I don't know, like consequences for his actions.
All right, this is things are heating up. It's a close game here. All right, we got question number 8. How is Basil affected by the time period?
Okay. Basil was affected by this time period because there's a lot of ideology, and he really fed into it because he saw Dorian Gray as the English gentleman, and so that really and that was really a huge advance in society at that time. Their relationship was mainly Basil being more obsessed with Dorian, which gave Dorian more of a control over him, and so it's just an unhealthy relationship.
Correct. You get 2 points. All right, it's getting spicy up in here. We got question number 9. How did Victorians visualize art, and how is this incorporated into the book? Audrey.
They saw it as like pretty cool, you know, but nothing special.
That's not exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna go ahead and give it to Macy for 1 point.
Okay.
The question is, how did Victorians visualize art, and how is that incorporated into the book?
Well, like I mentioned before in a previous question that I got correct, was that beauty is art and art is beauty. And in the book, the picture of Dorian Gray, it was seen as something in the beginning as what he wanted to look like, what he wanted to stay like forever, and then it kind of started deteriorating throughout. So it shows that like art is a realistic like view of life since it got so old and ugly, and that's how he really was on the inside. So it really showed his true self.
That was beautiful.
That was really good. 1 point. All right, it's a tied game. This is the last question for all the marbles. Question number 10. Please do not slap until I finished reading the question. I didn't make y'all do that before, but now we are. How did the time period influence the author's choice and theme?
The time period of the Victorian era just influenced like everything together, like art and beauty and youth and idealization, which is seen throughout the entire book. So Oscar Wilde really chose to incorporate the big social themes of the Victorian era into this book to make sure that they're showcased in every single relationship.
That is correct! You won, Macy! Oh my gosh!
This is so
Congratulations! I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud. What a great game. Why don't we just wrap it up talking about the book as a whole? I would say there's probably 2 meaning of the words. Number 1, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. can see in the Victorian era that beauty was really heavily defined in youth and in art, and that's something that Dorian Gray becomes obsessed with. And he spends his whole life trying to master beauty by investing his life into art. And as he ages, even though he doesn't necessarily change in looks, his soul becomes corrupted and immoral because of his obsession. Dorian Gray idolizes Lord Henry. He thinks he's this amazing English gentleman, and so he tries to master those skills that Lord Henry apparently has mastered by investing himself into youth and into art for beauty. Then we have Basil, who becomes obsessed with Dorian Gray because he thinks that Dorian Gray is this English gentleman, and he becomes so infatuated with Dorian that he doesn't even realize how he's being manipulated, and that Dorian actually has a really terrible soul and moral justice kind of balance in his head. So Basil kind of becomes corrupt in some way, and then Sybil is also incredibly in love with Dorian and just falls for him immediately. Doesn't even let herself kind of catch up and think about anything, just becomes in love with him. And that's kind of corrupts her in some way because, again, it's this idolization of this perfect English gentleman. And this kind of ties back into this theme that you can have a beautiful exterior, but it really matters what's on the inside. Dorian had this beautiful exterior and he was youthful and beautiful, but on the inside he was very corrupt and immoral.
Thanks for watching! I won!